Hello and welcome to SideTalk episode 3 with myself, Ash, and my man from down in London, Scott. Scott, how's it going, bro?
Hello, mate. You good? I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, living the dream as always. It's been a very busy month in wrestling as always, and we are here to just recap and review and chat about the month of May. In the world of wrestling. So, where else better to start than the pay-per-view that's fresh in the memory from last weekend, AEW Double or Nothing. What did you think of the show, dude?
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. It was a long one, but I personally,
That's what she said.
I don't really mind that so much. When it was, it kind of picked up when I was flagging and sustained my interest. There was, there's a couple of things you might do differently, but whole it was like, I give it a solid 5 out of 5 for entertainment, just keeping me laughing, unexpected stuff, people coming back, crammed full of stuff. It
Always,
was just money well spent in my books. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I did find myself thinking 2 or 3 of the matches could have been like dynamite matches or something to that effect, just to try and like trim the fat. But overall, I enjoy myself. I love AEW pay-per-views. They just don't miss. They've got an incredible history of just smashing it every single pay-per-view. So it was a good time. We had so I've got the matches. We'll just run through them and discuss as we go. So the show opened with Will Ospreay and Roddy Strong for the international title. I thought this was a super fun match. As expected, both guys are just like, lack of a better word, elite at what they do. And it was full of shenanigans and all the stuff that you would have expected, and the outcome was always going to be Ospreay winning. But I've got no complaints. The journey was fun. I've enjoyed it's been a short feud, but I've enjoyed it. Will Ospreay is now international champion, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, and hopefully, he'll be able to tour with that belt. In the scrum afterwards, he was asked when Pac was the inaugural champion. He brought the belt over to defend in Rev Pro shows and
against LG Cleary.
It's some great matches, and it was so long ago those matches were shown on Dark. You think of the origin of that belt.
All Atlantic title.
Yeah, it even had a different name, everything. But it's exciting to see. Obviously, with Ospreay's connections to the UK and Japan, that belt is kind of tailor-made for him, really.
Absolutely, and I've got no complaints. He's going to carry that belt with pride, and he's already during the post-show scrum, he was asked about defending it abroad and here, there, and everywhere, and he seems very interested in doing that. So that is a very interesting aspect to potentially look forward to. So hot on the heels of that match, we had all the members of the Undisputed Kingdom in and around the ring for the first match, and then they lose, go away, and then the leader of the Undisputed Kingdom comes out straight away, which I thought was just weird.
Yeah,
like why weren't you here 5 minutes ago to like help your guy? Obviously, Adam Cole, Bay came down and gave the crowd an earful, and then we had the return of one Maxwell Jacob Friedman with a vignette. And then the nice kind of classical remix of his theme song, and then the theme song hit, and then he came out looking like 2002 Triple H on his return.
It's
with
crazy.
with the leather jacket and the denim cut off and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I was absolutely I was beyond thrilled that he's back. Missed him, and the promo that he cut was tells you why we've missed him.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Crazy.
I missed it. Like, I've rewatched it, and I've missed it first time when he was saying, he's over kangaroo kicks, and which, I'm going to miss the kangaroo kick, but he was saying, he's not about, friendship and love. He's all about hate, hate, hate. And I was, oh, Triple H, hate, hate, hate. Oh, nice little.
Oh, right, okay.
He was peppering it with everything. He's back to the scumbag that everyone wants to cheer for. Really entertaining. Like I say, it did kind of jar a bit. Why is Adam Cole coming back now? In that point, but I guess it was if it would have detracted from the previous match, and people have been whispering, well, when's MJF coming in? When's MJF coming in? I guess that was the thinking behind it. But it was kind of well done. We're all hoping he'd be back, maybe at Dynasty, but he's back now. He's got his new tattoo. he's he ain't going anywhere.
The quality of that tattoo, to say that he's just signed like a multi-million-dollar contract was pretty shit, to be honest. Anyway, unless it was just like a rub-on tattoo, just for that promo.
The ellipse of the betting chip was a bit off, and just looking from a purely artistic designer perspective, I was kind of, that took me out of the moment a bit. I was like, someone needs to go over that. But the sentiment was what we need, so
yeah, for sure. So hopefully he is on Dynamite tonight, and we get another earful.
Yeah,
because give me all the MJF.
Yeah. Looking forward to who he's going to feud with next.
Well, I'm assuming Adam Cole will get they'll get a match, which the next pay-per-view is Forbidden Door, so I wouldn't expect they will have that match on Forbidden Door. So will they drag it out to All In?
Yeah. Not sure. Good time to kind of give Wardlow a bit of a push and maybe finish that unfinished business between those two guys, because Wardlow's kind of just been drifting, hasn't he, without MJF, and obviously injuries can't be helped. But it'd be interesting to see if they're going to draw a line and move him on to something else until Adam Cole's back fully, and revisit that later down the line. But he threw away the mask, things like that. He was kind of like, it seemed to be, this is a new day one kind of thing. Be interesting to see where it goes, definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to see Wardlow do a bit more, because he's just kind of anonymous at this moment in time, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
So moving on from that segment, we had the trios titles, Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle, which absolutely banged to put a pun on it. This was always going to be awesome. 6 of the best AEW has to offer. 7 of you include the returning Juice Robinson, which I almost jumped up out of my seat and was just like, yes! Yes, Juicy Boy. So absolutely delighted that he's back, and they are complete now. And I'm still wondering why they're not referring to themselves as Bullet Club Gold anymore. They're just the Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious about. So it's one of those things.
maybe Tanahashi-san's had a quiet word with Tony and said, "Let it be our thing." It's
maybe so. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a copyright thing or if it just, I don't know. But without Juice, they had the name changed for it to fit in with the Scissor Gang. I don't know. It is odd. It is conspicuous by its absence.
I mean, like ABC and TNA, they're Bullet Club members, but they're ABC. They're not really referred to as Bullet Club all that often.
No.
So, I don't know. It might be a case of New Japan pulling rank and stuff. So maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. And
But
it looked like Pac had snapped his neck early on in that DDT. It really was, crazy. So yeah, it had me kind of, oh, what's going on here?
Nobody sells a DDT like Pac.
No,
I
he's
love it.
fantastic. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's one of the best. So off the back of this match, all I want now is a Jay White and Pac match.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
just give it to us, Tony Khan, you coward. So then after that, we had the women's title. We had Timeless Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb, which was a technical showcase, really, which I really liked. For all of Serena Deeb's in-ring prowess, I find her character to just be really just boring and not very interesting. She's cool in the ring, but when she's doing promos and all that other stuff, doesn't draw me in all that much. But I respect the work and how good she is. But Timeless Tony is just the absolute complete package, and she is just entertainment personified. She's hilarious, and she can work.
Yeah, and it's definitely a big ask to ask someone to go in and be a face against Tony Storm when she's kind of leaning, obviously the crowd are massively behind her, love the character. And I think Deep did kind of play a more heelish character, but there were but it should have been made more black and white from the offset rather than trying to, the adversity story of the real life seizure she had, which is obviously a very, inspiring story, but it wasn't the story that needed to be told for this this particular feud. When they were the other week when she was giving her promo with Shivani, and the crowd got so bored they started cheering for the local hockey team, and I was like, this is when you need to change. You kind of need to tell people to shut the hell up and then embrace the bad side, and then pivot quickly. It didn't really affect it too much. I think she's a way better heel than she is a face. I just think it suits her character more. She just seems to have more fun with it. Kind of reminds me of when Bret Hart, when he was doing his heel kind of work, and he would use the fact that he was technically better than anyone else in that division, and that's the kind of where I see her going, more than kind of like not like a naturally a goofy or a character that can. Her gimmick is it thrives with when you're just kind of betting on how good she is. When they were doing those professor challenges and she was like getting people to tap out within 30 seconds, that kind of stuff was much more, it seems to be more in line with her character than kind of like cheer for me guys, because it's just very difficult. There's a lot of, we'll talk probably about people changing from between heels and faces, but there's just room for her to be a good technical heel right now and give that division like some depth. Obviously in the pre-show, Purrazzo turning heel as well on Thunder Rosa. So I was looking through the rotors today just because I was curious to see who's still listed on their site, and looking through the women's division, it's a very strong division.
Very.
With people that still may sign over the summer and whatnot. It's really interesting. But I just wanted to see if Ethan Page was still on there, and he still is.
Okay. Well, funny little side note. Actually, literally before I logged onto Skype and sent you a call, he uploaded a video to Instagram and said that he is not signed to any company anywhere.
Oh wow, interesting.
At the moment. So if that is legit, then wow, very very interesting indeed. But part of me does think that he is signed.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it might play into this. Is it Worlds Collide? Is it being announced? Because of what happened on NXT last night, which we'll get to in time.
Yep.
But that's as you mentioned.
Yep.
Next match was Orange Cassidy and Trent. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I thought it was probably going to be more of a technical match because they were trying to see who the best wrestler was, but it kind of broke down quite early. Got better as it went on. I like the fact that Orange was wearing a black T-shirt was such a controversial point with the commentators. It's the first time he's ever worn a black T-shirt.
And darker denim.
Yeah, obviously it's come. When Trent first turned on him, it was kind of like, why is this happening? And then we thought what's happened since with the news about Chuck Taylor. It's kind of sadly looks like Chuck's not going to be able to wrestle anymore. So they've had to, get it done. Times against them, and the best friends. They were kind of. They've always been a good act and kind of like the steady hand, like the consistent through line through AEW's 5 years. And now it's like they've pulled the trigger and doing some really interesting stuff. It will be interesting to see where Trent goes from here after losing. And, he said, after all said and done, I'm going to still prove to be the better wrestler. And now he's proved that he hasn't. And I liked when he left and kind of brushed off Rocky and Renee and said, "Right, I'm going." It's and Don Callis and Orange. It's all if Chuck Taylor's got a hand in producing their segments for these guys now, he's doing a great job. If this is like his handiwork, but because he's obviously a great wrestling mind, and it's a loss that we won't see him wrestle. But hopefully he'll stick around and keep producing stuff because this is kind of like the stuff where people don't expect it and they haven't got an obvious, well, this is what's going to happen. Even tonight on Dynamite, there's a contract signing, but we don't know who it's necessarily, if it's necessarily for Orange Cassidy, and if he's, it's good stuff, and it was a good match, and it's nice that we've got kind of like things that have organically grown out of the TV show happening, and not everything has to be for a title to be a intriguing story.
Yeah, true. I'm just looking up and down the card now. Actually, it's the only singles match on the show that was not for a title.
Yeah.
So there is that. When Trent came out wearing red pants, I thought, here we go. Don Callis, he's out there on commentary. The whole Orange Cassidy thing is going to be a big swerve, and Trent's going to join the Don Callis family. I was really surprised that it didn't happen on the pay-per-view. But I do expect that is what will happen on Dynamite tonight. I do think that Trent will be in the Don Callis family this time tomorrow. And I think it's a really good pairing and a good move, really. Good move indeed.
Yeah.
So then for the world title. Was the next match the Loading Tree? Chris Jericho versus Shibata versus Hook. This was one of the matches that I felt like could have been on Dynamite. I enjoyed it though. It was okay. It was good.
Yeah, and
the bag of dice was good fun.
It was and Shibata was just chucking dice.
Pelting him with dice. It was just entertaining, and you need entertainment in a 5-hour show. You can't just have super serious pro wrestling the whole time. You need something to make people and break it up a bit. And that's what this match was. And then of course we had a masked assailant sliding into the ring to help Jericho pick up the win. And when he took off the mask, it was the bounty hunter Brian Keith, which I'm pretty fucking happy about, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I've been thinking to myself, we need more Brian Keith, like consistently. Like, let's just have him on TV all the time. This guy is absolutely awesome, and felt like he was just kind of fading into the background. Like when people join AEW, they're on like every show for like 2-3 weeks, and then they just kind of become bit part.
Yeah.
Kind of happens to a lot of people, but now Brian Keith's going to be on TV every week, and I'm all for it. So absolutely
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Just that gnarly table spot with Big Bill where it looked like he almost
Oh,
was going to get impaled on the table. I've never seen a table leg just stand
yeah.
like that. It was, you know, um, yeah, the dice were hilarious. It made me remember when Brandon Cutler had the fight with Peter Avalon, and he had the Dungeons and Dragons dice on an episode, and
Wow,
those were
that is
those
taking it
funky,
back.
yeah, the funky shaped dice, and but yeah. Again, it's where's it going to go? I, I give Jericho his due for someone that everyone wanted to just go away to now kind of be people are enjoying the matches, and it's
I
like,
am.
well, he's kind of he
He's
he's
done it
kind of
again.
he's done it again. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
genuinely incredible. Like a month ago, I was just like, please just give me a break. Just
yeah.
please go away for a little while, make me kind of miss you or whatever.
Mm.
And without skipping a beat, he has just made me really interested and kind of not want to see him, but like not like eye roll. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And with the
yeah,
addition of Brian Keith and Big Bill, like
yeah. I think they're
maybe
great.
more. So it's
Yeah,
good.
Big Bill's like such a funny guy when he's like, expressions and the all that kind of in the he's
Yeah.
yeah, he's hilarious. And Brian Keith is like the hired gun. Yeah, I think that's a great move. Unfortunately, it
Mm.
meant he had to miss Strong Style in the UK this weekend because he
Oh,
was
really?
booked for that. And when he was taken off the card about 2 weeks ago, I thought, okay, that's the same day as something else that's happening for another company he's working for. So I
Okay.
had my suspicions and there but it kind of makes me think, obviously Jake Hager has been announced that he's leaving AEW. So,
All
Sammy's
right.
Sammy's out. Will Sammy come back and join Chris again for the umpteenth time? We're not sure. He posted some
Oh,
videos recently looking really super fast in the ring, like getting back to ring speed, and yeah, will that happen? And and it just makes me think, what's the plans for Ricky Starks? Because I think you can tell who's fallen out of favor with Tony Khan by who's not on pay-per-views, and him saying he's fit and well and not being there is kind of Miro saying he's fine to wrestle, but he's back home in Bulgaria. Danhausen being absolutely fine and clear to wrestling for independence and having 0 AEW matches this year. We're halfway through the year. Doesn't look too good, does it? And
no.
with Page and stuff, I think you and me is like we've obviously there's a wealth of talent and depth of roster, but some of our favorite guys are not getting the TV time we'd like to see. And given that they've got an extra show now, it's kind of, if they can move on and be in other programming, then that's great. And we'll obviously support them in different shows. But it's like, how can you not see the value in booking such, such variety really, and giving them something to do? I and obviously we don't know everything, but Miro, Ricky Starks, Danhausen are like three of like my most missed. A bit like when Stu Grayson left, and it's like that guy was probably one of the best but one of the best pound for pound wrestlers you had, and he's just gone
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
the wrestling scene is a lot healthier than it was before AEW started, and if you can see these guys wrestling for independence or in WWE or in TNA in Japan, then these guys have got so many more options. They're getting paid way better because the competition has been increased in the North American market, and so it's all good. It's just obviously, I think you and I may book may book AEW different from the booking that has been done. But like you say, when a pay-per-view rolls around, we're happy as Larry and can't fault it. So it's really weird.
Yeah, for sure. And so you just mentioned Japan. So the next match was the IWGP title, World Heavyweight title match between Mox and Takeshita, which I had a real good time watching. I thought it was great. As soon as I saw Takeshita was going to be on this card, I was very happy. And to be honest with you, I was really quite irritated that he lost, because it felt like a missed opportunity to have even like a DQ finish. You know what I mean? Hit Mox with a chair. Mox wins. Mox retains. Oh no, wait, hang on a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Like some kind of like screwy finish or something. Whereas Takeshita could then go and challenge for the championship on a New Japan show representing DDT, maybe like All Together. Another one of their shows is coming up in the next month or so. So I don't know. I felt like it was a real missed opportunity, and with Takeshita is another one. Like he was in the media maybe a week or so ago complaining about how it just doesn't feel like he's being booked properly and he's not being managed properly. And he's not being given what he was promised, kind of thing. Like how this guy still isn't the champ in AEW is absolutely beyond me, because he is amazing. One of the most genuinely amazing wrestlers walking the earth at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And it just really kind of annoyed me that he lost. But hopefully there's a story about to happen that he can sink his teeth into, and hopefully results in a championship for him, because the guy's amazing.
Yeah, let's hope it builds and something happens at Forbidden Door. I don't think New Japan are going to would have kind of let the IWGP go on an American show to a wrestler who is kind of aligned with DDT. There's probably some politics there. The fact that it was just a qualifier as well for eliminator. Sorry. Kind of like, did it need to be on the pay-per-view? But then again, I really enjoyed the match. Those guys are great. Moxley's selling of the injured arm. Fantastic match. So it was it was a really good match. It was just like you say, would have been great if a wrestler who is kind of aligned with DDT had won the IWGP on an AEW show, and let's see where that goes. But
yeah, it happens. But yeah, that was kind of a blemish for me. But I had a real good time watching the match, at least, and I had a real good time watching this next match because it was absolute carnage. It was the barbed wire steel cage match for the TNT title. It was Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black, and I want to let you take lead on this because it was it was really good.
It was amazing, Brood, Copeland coming out to Slayer. It was basically all the things I think he wanted to do in the Mania 39 match against Balor that wasn't allowed. So they had the full extent of that. He was allowed to bleed. He was wrapping Malachi up in barbed wire. We had so many fun spots. The when it looked like House of Black were going to turn on.
Yeah, man.
I don't know about you, but I completely bought that. I was like, oh, it's a new Brood.
Same. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
And then, like, within seconds, and stuff.
We had the sacrifice of Copeland with the barbed wire crown getting crucified before Gangrel came up through the apron and seeing Gangrel back. I was like, wow, amazing. And that guy, he's a vampire because he doesn't age. He looks the same as he did back in WWE, back in when I was
banging and banging, baby.
We love us a bit of Gangrel. unfortunately, the injury that Copeland picked up when he was going up to the top of the cage, I was like watching like that. I was like, if it was he said since he's got carried away and his brain, wasn't telling him, hey, hang on, you're 50. He was like, he felt like a young man again, and he said he's kind of like corrected at the last minute, so he kind of landed on his feet and where he's.
It was very, very awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It should have been like a splash or something rather than just the awkward kind of landing, standing up kind of thing, or elbow drop. But anyway, yeah, he's paid the price, and apparently he's going to be up for like 5 to 6 months, and will need surgery on a fractured tibia, I believe.
Yeah.
Which fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Injuries, man. It's just piling up. So yeah, it sounds like we will be having a new TNT title champion in the very near future. So whether that's like a tournament or something to that effect, that should be really cool. So I don't know who I want. Malachi Black. Just give it to Malachi.
Yeah, I've kind of felt bad for him, like, doing the job, and then the next day Copeland's out with a broken leg. He's like, ah.
I lost a match to a 50 with a broken leg. Yeah. do I even deserve to be champion?
Yeah. I mean, if they do go the tournament route again, Jack Perry is another forerunner for that as well. Could really
that is a good shout.
Give a lot of a lot of interesting. I do love me a tournament. I think that the Continental Classic told so many good stories, and people came out of that elevated. Really enjoyed that. So it'd be interesting to see where they would decide to go.
Yeah, Jack Perry is a good shout because aesthetically he's the only member of the elite without a title belt.
Yeah, and also the Bucks can kind of work their nefarious ways to giving him, I don't know, soft matches, or I don't know what they'll decide to do, but it'll be do something which will piss everyone off and make us chuckle.
Yeah, for sure. So the next match of this was the TBS title match, Willow Nightingale versus the returning Mercedes Moné. First match in over a year. I don't know about you, dude, but this was one of my favorite women's matches I've ever seen. I think.
Yeah, I think they could be a contender for match of the event. Stories they told were fantastic. Everyone was obviously very worried that obviously what happened last time, and obviously Mercedes being out for that length of time, and they've kind of built her character, but she delivered, and the whole story of both of them working each other's ankles. Mercedes is in revenge for her broken ankle, and Willow as well. I know you've got a dodgy ankle, so I'm going to go over that. Was awesome.
Yeah, it was great stuff. I love Willow's hair as well. Probably extensions, but I thought she looked amazing. And we all knew Mercedes was going to win, but the match, the journey was great fun. And I'm all in for the CEO. CEO. Did you see the video of Willow doing that dance?
Oh yeah,
Mercedes.
It was hilarious. I think they're on like a tour bus or something. Him and Carl Fletcher looking worse for the wear. They're on the bus somewhere, and they were still
doing it. It was fun. So then the AEW World Title match was Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. I thought this was a really good match, lots of fun. Not a lot to dissect or whatever you want to call it. I thought the whole sending the patriarchy back to the locker rooms only to have Nick Wayne come back out and not be told to leave again. Pussycat. I thought that was just a bit like kind of okay, fair enough. But the match itself was great, and Swerve's killing it, but we all knew that anyway.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally agree. And Christian's so good at like the way he lays out a match, and he's just he's probably like from like their like veteran signings. He's my favorite.
Christian, absolutely.
Brilliant stuff.
He's been so good since he joined.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about Double or Nothing for about 35 minutes coming up to, so we're finally on the last match, so don't worry guys if you're not an AEW fan, we're about to get onto the other stuff in the next 25 minutes or so. So finally the closing match was the Anarchy in the Arena, which was the Elite versus Team AEW, which was Darby Allin, Bryan Danielson and FTR. Holy shit, was there so much to unpack in this match. Like, where do you want to begin?
It was crazy.
The continuously playing theme music, that's a good place to start. It just kept going.
Yeah.
Like, going back to a couple of years ago where Wild Thing just kept playing over and over and over again.
Like, Darby's music is cool, but it wasn't enough of a banger, I don't think, for like to get the crowd into it. And then they were like, well, let's play the new Succession kind of theme tune of the Young Bucks, which is horrible. And the Brian just like, that's it. Just don't sing anymore. We can't afford it.
I absolutely love Matt Jackson on the mic mid-match, just talking shit and being disingenuous. It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, that's like the perfect song to get when you're in the middle of a brawl in an arena. You want to be, and like Darby did doing the synchronized coughing drop to the doof in the song. It was wow. Darby getting thrown into a pile of garbage after soaking Jack Perry in the ice bath, getting run over. It was just there was exploding chairs. You had Okada with like Mr. Socko kind of drawing pin glove. The sneaker.
Darby Allin with drawing pins stuck into it. The shoe with drawing pins stuck in the bottom of it.
Yeah, try these.
Jack Perry was lit on fire. Just holy heck, so much going on. Darby Allin was suspended upside down from the rafters, which was an interesting thing to do, considering that they just announced the Owen Hart tournament on the pre-show. But it was only about 5-6 foot up in the air, so it's not like he was going to be in any large danger. But I thought the super kick the Jacksons delivered to him that looked fucking painful because they had the spiky shoes on.
The photo of his face, his nose looks like he's got like puncture marks all over his face. The whole the flamethrower that was teased, and then when obviously the ice bath and him being soaked disguised the fact he was covered in flame retardant gel. But I didn't twig straight away. But I was like, oh, he's just wet, so it might not, it might not set on fire. But when he starts in a round, and it's like, oh my goodness me.
Yeah. So I've seen a video since the match of Jack Perry doing like a stunt for a movie that he did, and it basically was set on fire. So he's done it before, so he decided to do it again on the pay-per-view. So
it's strange that like I was kind of like knowing it was those guys doing it, I was like more kind of relaxed watching them do that really super dangerous stuff than I was seeing Copeland go up and keep going up. I was like, this isn't going to end well. But when they're doing stuff like that, they're doing it as safely as they can. And it was fantastic. And then Jack Perry getting the pin on Danielson, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch, giving the guys some big moments, and that's what we need. Big stars to be made, big moments that we had, and all that. So I had loads of fun watching this match. It was preposterous, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great way to end the month of wrestling TV, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So we finished the Double or Nothing review. So there's a couple of other little tidbits from AEW that we thought we'd cover before we kind of move on. Kenny Omega had successful diverculitis surgery last week or so, I believe. So speedy recovery to Kenny. We miss you and we love you very much. We've alluded to Adam Copeland breaking his leg and will be out for a few months. Chuck Taylor has had to retire, and he is training to be a producer, as Scott mentioned earlier. Danhausen is MIA still. No one knows what's going on. So that sucks. Hopefully he will make an appearance at some point in the near future. We've had a few people leave. Jake Hager, Arn Anderson, Ethan Page, all left. Am I missing anybody? Mark Henry. Mark Henry's left.
Mark Henry, yeah.
Yeah. And also we had the Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington, grandson of the legend from back in the 80s, make his AEW debut. He had an absolute belter against Dax on Collision. It was absolutely spot on. And the funny thing is that he's billed from Wigan, which is like kind of 25 to 30 minutes away from where I basically grew up, which I hate admitting, because I'm not a big fan of pies, but you know, it's all good. We'll move on after 41 minutes and talk a bit about what's happened in the WWE as best as we can. So Backlash in was it, or Leon as they were pronouncing it, which I thought was awful.
We've got Glasgow coming up next, so.
Oh my god, funny really. But yeah, a couple of noteworthy things. It was a few weeks ago now, so the card is not fresh in my memory. I have not checked it out, but the main event of Cody versus AJ fucking rules. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Cody, AJ dropped a burning hammer, or was it Cody in the burning hammer? I can't remember which way around it was now. But that was a holy shit moment. Two of the best in the game, just doing what they do. Great stuff. Yeah. The crowd was loud, man. So incredibly loud. Although I did notice they were kind of just singing to serve themselves kind of thing. They were just kind of singing their own thing, doing their own thing. They weren't really that fussed about singing wrestling related stuff, which was a bit odd. I mean, they were so loud, but they were just doing their own thing, basically.
Yeah. I saw that there was a decibel warning issued to their smartphones. They had exceeded 100 decibels, and there was a danger for permanent hearing damage. That's how loud they were. I mean, I agree. I like it. I like a crowd that's loud, and I like a crowd that's getting entertained. But when nothing's happening, they go into business for themselves. And they just start singing songs. It kind of distracts a bit, and it's like, okay, but you can't take away from the overall party atmosphere, and they did really well. And I think that's kind of, and we did the pay-per-view we just talked about, the Vegas crowd were really good as well, and it's good to see people are singing and the place rocking, and it was a very loud crowd, and it just it shows you that they really, these companies, when they go out to other territories and they sell out and get that kind of reaction, the plan of having the B grade shows overseas is one of Triple H's better ideas. It's so much easier than trying to establish territories and having that global network, which was I think it's kind of almost been poo-pooed in that's what he wanted to do. So just take what you got and go around the world and sell out to massive crowds. But it's kind of been reported that it didn't go too well with the home market in interest. It wasn't Googled, which is something that the company's worried about. People didn't look it up online as much as previous events. and didn't watch it as much because of the time of day it was on. It's just, I think, to just get on my soapbox from it, of being a British wrestling fan and getting up for 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's the least you can do, guys, to watch it at lunchtime.
I got up at 3 a.m. Monday morning to watch Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking lunatic.
But sometimes you just, it's on your mind and you can't sleep. Yeah.
It must when you're a parent and you work full time. It's not really.
Yeah, you got to fit it in somehow.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Hopefully that they will kind of, that won't affect their decision to have more overseas shows, because I really think they do add something very exciting to the mix.
They've just been over to Saudi, haven't they, for King and Queen of the Ring?
Yeah.
Which I don't watch the Saudi shows as a rule, but the King and Queen of the Ring were announced as Gunther and Nia Jax, much to your horror. The biggest Nia Jax fan on planet Earth.
I'm sure she actually seems like a really quite funny, genuine person. But I just think, if I want to be controversial, I don't think she would be winning if The Rock wasn't on the board. It just seems, just to look on Triple H's face, but maybe. She's got her fans. I'm just not. You can't like everyone. Everyone's not going to be your cup of tea. But appreciate what she did. But it just seems to be like the finished. Seems to be just dropped. Okay, and with the Gunther and Randy Orton, his shoulder was so high up off the mat, but they've done a quick pivot, and there's already, if it results in Gunther beating up Pat McAfee for mouthing off, then no harm, no foul.
I can't stand Pat McAfee, Jesus Christ. The King and Queen of the Ring now go on to SummerSlam for a world title match, which is pretty cool. Gunther hopefully will go after Priest and be the new world heavyweight champion. It just feels like the best thing to do. Nia Jax should lose to Liv Morgan.
And it's a good idea to have that, because it gives some stakes rather than just having a crown and speaking with a British accent. And I was trying to think, like, who was the last cool King of the Ring? And when I was a kid growing up, it was King Haku, and I never realized at the time. I was like, well, why has he got this gimmick? It didn't really suit him, but Haku is just so cool, and so he was just like a mad king coming in on his throne, and I was like, yeah. And it's interesting now that Gunther won't wear the crown; he will just hold it like a cake he's won in a bake sale.
Like a cake.
And I was like, yeah, I like the fact that he's too cool. He's like, I'm not wearing this goofy crown. I will just hold it like the championship it is. It's quite cool.
The last King of the Ring I can remember, like, honest, was Wade Barrett. So that's going back a fair few years now. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre, after all the ooding and won't he kind of questions and stuff, has re-signed, which we all knew was happening, because why would he enter feud with CM Punk to then just leave? It makes no sense whatsoever. So
he's doing the best work as well, isn't he? He's doing some great stuff, so there was no point in him leaving.
He's killing it. And Becky Lynch, though, apparently her contract expires this weekend. But I do feel like she's probably just going to swerve and come back in a couple of weeks and re-sign and stuff. Personally, I really don't want her in AEW. I just don't feel like women's division needs her. And she's, to me, very much a WWE wrestler kind of thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. When you think of like WWE women's division, and who is iconic in that, and then definitely Becky is one of those people you would be in everyone's top 5. You know, I think probably she's. I mean, no one knows what apart from what she's thinking, and it's probably. I think the contract will run out, and she'll maybe take a couple of years or a couple of years, a month or a year off, just to see what she wants to do next, because she doesn't have to work. She's made her money, go anywhere she likes, and if she wants to go back, there'll be, like you say, the fact that there is competition now and you can play off both sides, just get all the money you can and get paid what you deserve to get paid. But yeah, it seems to be happening a lot with contracts that running down to the last minute before. With Seth, it happened, didn't it? And I think it's just an oversight. I think they've released the person who was in charge of renewing contracts because they were just not on it like they should have been. And I think most people don't really want to go anywhere because they're doing storylines. They're enjoying the work. They're enjoying the way that Triple H is taking this more, focused on the wrestling, and they know they're not going to get the rug pulled from them storyline wise, and they think they're being listened to. So yeah, I think if she does, if this is her last match, she'll be going back to WWE. I don't think we're not going to see her on Collision.
Do you reckon? Or Rampage, imagine.
Yeah.
So other news that broke last night or this morning, depending on when you saw it, was Ethan Page. We alluded to it earlier. Ethan Page debuted in NXT and attacked Trick Williams, and this was a proper holy shit moment for me because I love Ethan Page. Egon Page.
Yeah.
The guy just has everything. He has the look. He's got the moveset. He's got good on the mic. He's just absolutely everything you need to be like a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And I couldn't for the life of me understand why he just wasn't utilized in AEW. Now, I mean, obviously we said earlier that he isn't actually signed, but I do suspect that he is signed. Because they'd be mad to not see him because he's that good.
Yeah.
So all the best to Ethan Page, and yeah, absolutely delighted for the fella. He's awesome. And then on the same show, we had the TNA Knockouts World Champion come out. Jordan Grace came out and challenged the Roxanne Perez to an NXT title match.
Yeah,
holy hell!
I know. I saw someone comment earlier that they were saying that I think it was a meme. It was Bender from Futurama. Yeah, we'll just make our own Forbidden Door, and he's got WWE on his and we'll make it with wrestlers from TNA and freelancers. And I was like, yeah, I'm all up for that. I definitely watch NXT more if that's the direction they're going. Interesting to see the continuation of what's going to happen with TNA, if it's going to become more and more aligned with WWE, whether it's going to be a feeder system or if there's going to be like trades, if it's one-offs, if there's going to be even like a pay-per-view TNA versus WWE, if there's going to be invasion storylines, who knows? But yeah, super exciting to see her turn up, and yeah, the pay-per-view for NXT looks like it's going to be another must-watch.
Hell, I'll be tuning in for sure. I do miss NXT Black and Gold, but this has got me very intrigued, very much so. So we'll draw to a close with the WWE stuff. But before we go, Tanga Loa, he debuted. Tanga Loa, Mr. Botch Machine, or whatever you want to call him. There's tons of videos online of him just not being very good at being a pro wrestler. So to then see him debut for WWE is just re-debut if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hilarious. I can never get over that Okada match where he's just him and then spiking him, but he's literally stroking him and not touching him and stuff. And Okada's just having he gives up selling in the end.
Yeah.
He's just like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like okay, but the referee, when he was late on pulling him out the ring, that spin that the ref does to get himself out the ring on the 3, so he has to kind of throw himself out the ring. I still haven't figured out how the referee did that, and that for that he gets my performance.
Skills.
He gets the performer of the month award for me, because that was like, yeah, he saved that, because obviously it was picked up on fan footage, but when you were watching it, it wasn't as obvious as it was from that angle that he kind of turned up 2 hours too late.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's very funny. But I've not really seen a lot of the new Bloodline stuff since his debut, so I can't say how it's going so far. But having seen him in New Japan like hundreds of times, yeah, he's not great.
Yeah,
Tama Tonga's great, but Tangaloa not so much.
yeah, it was kind of like New Japan fans, when they found out, were kind of like, oh, okay. It's a bit like when someone leaves and they're like, yeah, good on him, cheers, and I went, oh no,
Oh
what were we doing now?
no,
Yeah,
don't take our Tanga.
no.
Yeah, so
and yeah, kind of like, oh, I thought he was gone already, kind of vibes, because he wasn't
yeah,
really
for
bringing
sure.
much. But good luck to him. Let's see where the new bloodline goes from here, and yeah,
all that stuff. So yeah, we'll move on to New Japan. We probably have about 25 minutes left.
okay,
So we'll try and steam through this. So there's been a couple of things to talk about in New Japan. We had Resurgence.
yeah,
Was it in Chicago or was it in LA? It was in LA, wasn't it? Because the
yeah,
book
yeah,
showed up,
yeah,
which I thought was incredible. The first time they'd appeared on a New Japan show since 2019 or something to that effect.
yeah,
Really cool. They attacked Eddie Kingston after his match with Gabe Kidd,
yep,
which was awesome. Was it a no rules street fight, no rope street
no
fight or
ropes, yeah,
something like that? I thought was very interesting, very different.
yeah,
So yeah, Gabe Kidd came out the new strong openweight champ, which is fucking amazing, because like that guy is just killing it,
yeah,
and being a champ makes me very happy. Eddie unfortunately did pay the price. He took a rather sucky looking suplex off the apron onto the like metal barrier, and he has broke his leg. I think he's fractured his tibia, and he's torn his MCL and his meniscus, and he's looking at least a good year out, which is just awful for Eddie, because he's been killing it for the past couple of years.
yeah,
I wish him well, speedy recovery. And yeah, the evening was main evented by Mox versus Shota Umino, which I thought was just fucking brilliant.
yeah,
25, was it 35 minutes? I think it went for,
yeah,
which
yeah,
awesome, really awesome. Putting
yeah,
over the young lions, the next generation. So
yeah,
I was happy. I was happy
yeah,
with the show.
yeah. Good show, good solid show, definitely.
Yeah. So then we had a 2-night wrestling Dontaku. So I've made a couple of notes. I'm not going to run through the entire both cards or whatever. But Shingo Takagi versus Gabe Kidd. After it was meant to be on a Rev Pro show a while ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it? But
gutted that didn't happen. Yeah,
Gabe Kidd wasn't cleared because he'd been in that fucking wild cage match that
yeah,
almost killed Hanare. So great to finally have match. Shingo doesn't miss ever. He's just literally he's a best belt machine in his own right, if you ask me. David Finlay came out the 2-time global champ after. So Nick Nemeth defended successfully against Tanahashi on night 1, and then lost to Finlay on the second night. which was Tanahashi's 202nd main event, which is the second most of anyone in New Japan's history, which is just fucking brilliant. Amazing, really. Proper legend. Go Ace. Go President.
Yeah.
And Jeff Cobb came out, the New Japan World TV champ. Was that against Zack Sabre Jr.?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. won it back. Yeah. Great moment for Jeff Cobb. I feel like he's deserved this big time for quite some time. And it's good to have the United Empire have a bit of a boost because they haven't half taken a hit since Ospreay left, like big time hit. So the main event was Mox and then Narita, which was just obvious shitbaggery and shenanigans and all that good stuff. But it ended up with Evil coming out and spray painting the title belt black. So it'll be Evil, Mox versus Evil for the WGP strap at Dominion, which is the next show.
And the way things are going with the booking, I don't want to call that one.
Very much so. So the Best of the Super Juniors has been going on for the past few weeks. I tried my best to keep up with it, but when it's a 2-3 hour show every single day, I just can't keep up with it.
No.
So I check the scores to see what's going on. And as it stands, it's Taiji Ishimori and Hiromu Takahashi's are top on 12 points. Robbie Eagles and Doki and Sho are all on 10 points. So any one of them could be in the final. Driller Maloney was on 8 points as well, so I'm not quite sure he'll make it through to the semi-finals or anything like that. But Driller Maloney being in this competition was a bit confusing to me because he's like 6 foot, he's like 230 pounds, he's shredded. He's not a fucking junior. No. He works like a heavyweight. He looks like a heavyweight. It's just funny. Anyway, but, I digress. But unfortunately, Francesco Akira got injured and had to withdraw from the competition, so that sucks. Hopefully, it is not serious and he will be back soon. And the winner of the final of the Best of the Super Juniors was voted online to main event Dominion, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Nice. Yeah.
Rather than just having it on like open the show or whatever, but actually having it as like a main event's a really nice touch.
It's because they can't have everyone going home after Evil picks up the IWGP. You kind of put a smile on people's faces.
Whoa!
I'm only kidding.
I don't know who. I mean, you know, we talk about it. You might cast it into reality.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who I want to win the Best of the Super Juniors, to be honest with you.
No.
Who's the Super Junior? Who's the junior heavyweight champ at the moment?
I'm blanking. I was trying to think when you were going through the list of this fight is. So
it was El Desperado for like a couple of weeks, and then after that, my mind goes blank.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a quick Google.
Yeah, have a quick Google. But I think like Maloney's had a great tournament and really been outstanding, especially with the injuries and whatnot. Really, been killing it in this year's tournament.
Yeah, very much so. Like my internet's not coming back on quickly enough. But anyway, we'll just keep talking and we'll come back to that, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Doki maybe. Doki's cool.
Yeah. It'd be it'd be interesting to see, like you say, especially if it's going to headline. Interesting stuff.
Oh, the current champ is Sho.
Yes.
But I don't know when that happened. But,
no.
Okay.
That either speaks to our terrible memories or the fact that he hasn't made much of an impact. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's our terrible
Yeah,
memories.
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, sorry,
I
show.
I thought at the start of the Super Juniors that TJP was going to win it, to be honest with you, because again, another boost to the United Empire,
Yeah,
but
it would have
he
been good.
just hasn't. So I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, you alluded to it a few minutes ago, but the another talking point for New Japan is very prevalent this year. Is like Guido's booking has just been absolutely bizarre this year, up and down, left and right, back to front, upside down, just like doesn't seem to know quite what he's doing. He's just you'll do, you'll do, you'll do.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just
yeah,
weird.
it was strange, the whole Matt Riddle thing with when he dropped the belt to Zach and just kind of walked out the ring smiling. People were like, well, it was a roll up, so he wasn't hurt. But I was like, yeah, but you should at least look a little bit upset. You've lost the title.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but yeah, it seems to be that they're kind of putting all their eggs in the AEW basket. Tanahashi at the press conference with Tony Khan was, they're both very glowing about each other and their working relationship they've got. But I think what would be an interesting thing this year is if with New Japan doing a show with CMLL, if CMLL are more of a force in this year's Forbidden Door, it will really spice things up, and it will be a nice little end to the invasion angle they did earlier this year. And CMLL has really been working their socks off in upping their profile internationally. And they did a show the other week with Rev Pro, which was fantastic. All the stars there. And when you see these guys, doing what they do, it's just like the way that that you can have a completely covered face but still connect with a crowd and tell a story. From the young guys, from Atlantis Junior to Atlantis area, Hechicero to Mystico, they were fantastic. And I was like, in 2 months, should I go? Should I not go? And I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to see these guys this close. Any other, have to go to this event. And Stephanie Vaquer had 2 great matches on that card because they did an afternoon and an evening show. So it was, really, really, really good stuff. And yeah, I'm just really, happy to see like CMLL working with Rev Pro. Rev Pro will be working with AEW. AEW will be working, with New Japan, and there's this kind of nice, kind of relaxed working relationship.
Synergy.
Corporate synergy. But you never feel that any one of those companies is in danger for the other one wanting to take it over at any point, which is quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. So, seeing as you've just started talking about shows that, the fantastic Mania that you went to, why don't we talk about the shows that we've been to in the past month? So, you've been to that one. You went to a separate Repro show as well. Is that right?
No, that's the only one.
Was it just Fantastic Mania?
Just Fantastic Mania. Yeah, I was thinking about going to Progress to see Strong Style, but circumstances went against that. But yeah, Luke Jacobs winning, that was awesome. The fact that he's won,
definitely shout out to Luke Jacobs.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a side talk if we didn't pick up Luke Jacobs, because he seems to get his way into the conversation, rightly so. Every show we've done, even the shows we've been to, like Royal Quest 3 and things, he's won the Rev Pro Rumble to get the title shot at the anniversary show. And now he's got the title shot against Lycos at the next big Progress show from winning Strong Style. So, and at the CMLL show, he teamed up the match I saw with GYV, and they took on Futura, Mascara Dorada, and Neon, and that was an incredible match. And to see Luke and GYV as a trios team was. Yeah, that was kind of like, that's what's going to get me to buy a ticket. They were awesome. such a good
Smash Mouth.
yeah yeah if you're going to check out a match from that's you could go worse than checking that one out. It's really good.
Yeah. I'm really hoping Luke Jacobs gets announced for the Burning Heart show that I'm going to in Liverpool next month. Because like fucking guy's brilliant. So get the man over to Japan like immediately.
Yep.
So so shows that I went to, I kind of half went to True Grit. Shout out to True Grit because we with the Left Side sponsor the awesome promotion that's based up in Yorkshire. I finished work at 9, I think it was, and then True Grit were holding a show like 15 minutes down the road, so I probably drove a little too fast for the speed limit to get there, and hung out with my buddies from Fast Count. Shout out to Ben and Chloe from Fast Count Clothing, and so like probably about half the show, I think I walked in as the interval was just coming to a close, so I kind of saw half the show regardless. So yeah, that was good fun. I also took my little girl to see her first ever show, which was Tidal in Huddersfield a few weeks ago now. And the first match she ever saw live was Robbie X versus Scotty Rourke.
Wow.
She was literally just like, wow! Like
Yeah,
her mind,
awesome.
her mind was being blown, and it was just it filled my heart. And she's scared of Spike Trevay because
we all are.
he's yeah, very much so. He's the scurvy bird man. He's like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
Great times. So
that's good to hear. It's like I said to you when after the show I went to. It's just like when you come out and you're buzzing, and everyone's had a great time. It's been a great show. You know, you've seen everyone else enjoying themselves. It really just kind of lifts your spirits, and it's kind of what we kind of go why we're fans. You know, the grassroots. You know, we talked about the big shows at the top of the show. We're talking about the shows that we've gone to see locally, and anyone listening to this, if you can get a ticket to a local show, doesn't matter what promotion it is just in your area, just go and see it and give it a try. And you obviously like wrestling because you listen to this, but if you're in two minds, like sometimes I'm a bit, just go for it. If you can get a ticket, go, and you'll be happier when you leave and then when you went in. And yeah, that's the advice I would give.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, I think we're pushing it for time, so we'll have one last little shout out to Danhausen, who is GCW World Champion. Having lost the first reign in like 2 minutes, he won it back like maybe 2 weeks or so later. So shout out to Danhausen. And also, if you are still with us at this point, 76 minutes or so down the rabbit hole, you are a legend, and thank you very much. So from myself and Scott and Work the Left Side and the cat, whichever cat that was, I can't tell them apart. We'd like to say thank you, good night, bang. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find the link for this on our YouTube, on our Linktree. I'll drop it in the Threads account. Just have to go over there and direct link. And Scott, where can we find you on socials, dude?
If you go to Instagram, and it's at Scenes of Graphite Horror, which is where I post all my wrestling art.
Very good stuff. And those magic hands. Yeah. So thank you once again for joining us. And this has been SideTalk episode 3. We'll see you guys in the next 4 weeks, where we will talk about June. I'm sure there'll be plenty to discuss. It's been a good time. Scott, thank you very much, dude. I'll see you again next time.
All right.